Each carrier sends records in a slightly different format. There will be times to compare records from two different carriers during an investigation. Also, the lead detectives and prosecutors will not likely be familiar with the phone records. Putting all the records in a consistent and easy to understand format will help them understand the records with less interpretation and save us time. Here's an example of the template I use. Here we can see the headers for the template I use. The target number, connected to, direction, type, subscriber, timestamp, duration in seconds, and the first tower and sector. The first latitude, first longitude, first azimuth, first address, first city, and first state. Then it repeats for the last tower. Records from different carriers will have different information, so our template may adjust depending on our requirements for individual cases. We should include some of the elements of the template for every case. Include the target number. In the original records, the target number may not appear in a column by itself. It may appear as the calling number or the called number. Our analysis would benefit from having this number in a column by itself. Likewise, the connected to numbers, the numbers connecting to a target number during calls, may appear only in the calling or called number columns, and our analysis would benefit by having these numbers in columns by themselves. In some records, the only way to tell if the call was incoming or outgoing is by which column the target number appears. The template should contain a column indicating if the call was incoming or outgoing. When we receive the records with voice calls, text messages, and data connections, we will want them in the same finished product. Having a column identifying the type of connection will be valuable. The timestamp column will provide the date and time, and the duration seconds column will provide the length of the call. In cases where location information is not provided or not valuable to the case, these columns may be enough. In the cases where location information is valuable, we want not only the latitude and longitude, but we also want the address, city, and state in our template. We may map only a small portion of the records, but we want location information available to the lead detective and prosecutor. The latitude and longitude may not mean much without a map, but the address, city, and state probably would be easily recognizable. We will copy the data from our working CDR to populate the template. Ensure that the data stays in the proper rows. The easiest way to maintain a consistent template is to save the template in a workbook and keep it in a convenient location like the desktop, and then copy the template to the working CDR worksheet. Here's a live demonstration of copying the template to our working copy. I maintain a copy of my template in a workbook on my desktop. Once the template opens up, select all the headers. Click on the first cell and Control-Shift, right arrow. Also, you can select this area and then save it. Whenever it comes up again, this area will be selected. Then we can right-click and copy. In our working copy, click on the first available empty cell, and then paste. Again, we'll need to auto-size the width of our columns. Now we can see we have columns for each one of the headers. Once we have the template copied into our working copy, we can start copying columns into the template. First is the target number. Copy the target number from either the calling number or called number column and paste it in the first cell under the target column on the template. and then autofill the column with the target number. The connected to column will have the phone number of the phone that connected with the target number during the call or text. Since Sprint provides the phone numbers in either the calling number or the called number columns, we need to use an if-then formula to separate the target number from the connected to numbers. Since we copied the target number into the called number column based on the dialed digits column earlier, the target number will be in either the calling number column or the called number column. Our if-then formula will look for the target number in the called number column. If it appears in the called number column, then the number in the calling number column will be imported into the connected to column. If the target number does not appear in the called number column, then the number in the called number column will be imported into the connected to column. Our formula will look like this. If M2 equals B2, then import A2. If not, import B2. Once the formula is complete, then autofill the column, copy it, and paste special values, removing the formula. The connected to column will be formatted as numbers. We can format the column as phone numbers by using the Format Cells function. All the entries in the column will be selected since we just removed the formulas. Right-click on the selection and click on Format Cells. Select Special and Phone Number. In the direction column of our template, we need to identify whether the call was inbound, outbound, forwarded, or undetermined. Sprint provides the direction information in the mobile role column. Copy the mobile role column and paste it in the direction column, ensuring the entries stay in the same rows. Here's the Sprint mobile role column. Copy it, paste it into the direction column of our template. The type column in the template identifies whether the entry was a voice call or text message. In Sprint records, we base the type of entry on the NEID used. On these records, voice calls have an NEID of 420 or 422. All others are text messages. The NEID numbers may look different in your area, but you should be able to identify them with the NEID list from Sprint mentioned earlier in this course. After analyzing a few sets of records, you should become familiar with the NEIDs in your area. To fill the column, we will use an if-then formula with the addition of OR. If the NEID column is 420 or 422, we want the result to be the word voice. If not, we want the result to be the word text. In our formula, the text we want to return must be in quotation marks. In this case, the formula is equals if, parentheses, or, new parentheses, H2 equals 420, comma, H2 equals 422, close parentheses, comma, voice in quotes, comma, text in quotes. Once the column is complete, autofill the column, copy it, and paste special values to remove the formula. The next columns we will fill are timestamp and duration in seconds. Skip over the subscriber column for now. Copy the start date column and paste it in the timestamp column. copy the duration in seconds column and paste it in the duration in seconds column. Double check to make sure our new columns line up with the old columns. Next, we will fill the first and last cell and sector columns. We will use the first cell sector and last cell sector columns as the lookup value to import the latitudes, longitudes, and sector azimuths into the template using the VLOOKUP formula. Having the lookup value identical in both template and cell site list is critical. The VLOOKUP formula won't work otherwise. We will use the NEID, cell number, and sector number in that order as the lookup value. We will use the concatenate formula to bring the NEID, cell, and sector number into a single cell in the template. In this case, the formula will look like equals, concatenate, parentheses, H2, J2, I2. It will concatenate the contents of H2, I2, and J2 in that order. Autofill the column. At this point, the column reads as numbers but has formulas. The formula will not work as a lookup value for the VLOOKUP formula, so we will need to copy the column and paste special values. But we still aren't finished. When the numbers are pasted by default, Excel records them as text. Again, the numbers stored as text will not work as the lookup value in a VLOOKUP formula. A warning sign will appear next to the first cell selected, and the cells will have small green triangles in the upper left corner of the cell to denote the number is stored as text. Ensure all the numbers stored as text are selected, and click the drop-down next to the warning sign. Select Convert to Number. Repeat the process with the last cell and sector column. Here's a live demonstration of copying the information from our working copy CDR to the template. First, we will fill the target number column. Find the target number anywhere on the spreadsheet, copy it, and paste it in the first cell under target number. Then autofill the column. Next, we will fill the connected to column. We will need to use the if-then formula for this. Click on the first cell under connected to. Type equals, if, double-click on if, then click on the first cell under target number. Type equals, and then select the first cell in the called number column. Type a comma, and then the first cell in the calling numbered column. Type a comma, and then again the first cell in the called number column. Click Enter. This formula says that if the target number equals the called number, we want to import the calling number. If it does not equal the called number, then we want to import the called number. Click back on the first cell under Connected To and autofill the column. Right-click on the selection, copy, right-click again, and paste special values. Next, right-click, Format Cells, select Special, and Phone Number. Click OK. Next, we will copy in direction. The direction in the Sprint CDR is located in Mobile Role. Click on the first cell under Mobile Role. Press Ctrl, Shift, and the down arrow to select all the cells in the column. Copy the column, scroll back up to the top and select the first cell under Direction, and paste. This does not have to be a paste special values. Ctrl V will work for this. The next column we will fill is the Type column. This column will identify whether the call is voice or text. In Sprint records, we identify the type of call based on the NEID. In these records, we have two NEIDs that represent voice calls, 420 and 422, so we will have to use an if, then, or formula. Click on the first cell under Type. At this point, it might be a good idea to scroll to the right a bit. Type equals if, double-click on if, now type or, and double-click on or. Since we're looking in the NEID column, click on the first cell in the NEID column, and then equals 420, click comma, click on the first cell under NEID again, equals 422, and then close parentheses. That fulfills our or portion. Type comma, quote, and the value if it is 420 or 422, which is voice. Close the quotes, type a comma, and then quote, and the value we want if it is not 420 or 422, in this case, text, and close quote. Click Enter. In this case, I did not put the closed parentheses after text. Excel is more than happy to do this for me. Click back on the cell with the formula, autofill the column, right-click on the selection, copy, right-click again, and paste special values. Also, ensure that 420 and 422 have voice in the column, and all others should show text. Skip over the subscriber column for now, and then we'll fill timestamp and duration of seconds. We'll fill the timestamp column with the start date column. Click on the first cell under start date, press Ctrl, Shift, and down, copy it, Ctrl C, or right-click copy, scroll back up to the top, select the first cell under timestamp, and paste. You'll notice the column isn't wide enough. We can automatically resize the column to show the dates. Repeat the process with the duration seconds column. Next, we'll fill the first cell sector column. For this, we'll use the concatenate formula. Click on the first cell under first cell sector, type equals, and CON, then either concat in newer versions of Excel or concatenate. Click on the NEID, comma, first cell, comma, first sector. Hit Enter. Now you'll notice the first cell is empty in this case because this is a text message. Only the voice call entries have cell site information. Come back and click on the cell with the formula and autofill the column. Notice now that when we have cell site information, it's put in the correct order. The NEID, the cell site, and the sector. Right-click, copy, right-click, paste special values. Now you'll notice a warning sign and green triangles in the upper left corner of all the cells. This indicates this is a number stored as text. This will not work as our lookup value for the VLOOKUP formula. Click the drop-down on the warning sign and select Convert to Number. This may take a while depending on the speed of your computer and the size of the records. Once the plus sign reappears, the conversion is complete. Slide to the right until we can see the last cell in sector column. Click on the first cell under last cell sector. Type equals, concatenate. Then we need to slide back so that we can see the first and last cell in sector. Click on the any ID, comma, last cell, comma, last sector. Click Enter. Click back on the cell with the formula, autofill the column, right-click, copy, right-click, paste special values, and then convert to number. Again, this may take some time, but once the plus sign reappears, it's finished.